Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a story of global ambition, and it's unfolding in a place you probably wouldn't expect. We're going to break down the playbook for how tech companies from Thailand are managing to break into the incredibly competitive US market. Okay, let me ask you a quick question. When you think of Thailand, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Probably beautiful beaches, right? Amazing food, a really rich culture. And yeah, all fantastic things, for sure. But for today, let's just pivot a little. I want you to think about a totally different side of the story, one that's not happening in the tourist spots, but in the world's most competitive technology hubs. Yep, we are focusing on a really powerful new trend, the rise of Thai tech startups right here in the American market. This is a masterclass in how to go global.
This isn't just about dominating their local region anymore. A whole new generation of founders is thinking way, way bigger. They're aiming straight for the heart of the global tech industry.
So let's start with our first case study, a company that just perfectly captures the shift, Amity Solutions. They are an absolute trailblazer in the AI space. $60 million. That's how much Amity raised in their recent Series C funding. Now, for those who don't know, that's late-stage money. It's for companies that are already successful and are ready to seriously scale up. And this cash, it's not for staying local. It is specifically to expand their generative AI footprint right here in the US. And look, this timeline shows you just how strategic they've been. They didn't just pop up overnight. They started way back as a simple chat app, made a really smart move by acquiring an AI firm, and then rebranded. And now, they are right at the cutting edge of Gen AI. Now this quote, this carries some serious weight. When the CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella himself, personally gives you a shout out at a huge conference like this, that's a massive signal to the entire industry. It's like the ultimate stamp of approval on a global stage. And this isn't just talk. It's the real deal. They've got an office in Austin, millions of users, but here's the kicker. They've actually cracked the code. Most of their revenue now comes from the US. And their secret sauce? They focus on frontline workers. People in retail, logistics, hospitality. It's a huge group that the bigger platforms like Slack often overlook. Okay, so if Amity shows us the software playbook, our second case study reveals a completely different strategy. Let's go from AI to the final frontier and talk about MuSpace, a company tackling the incredibly tough world of aerospace. Founded back in 2017, MuSpace is diving headfirst into one of the most complex industries you can imagine. We're talking satellites, space-based internet. This is the heavy-duty, super capital-intensive side of tech. It's not for the faint of heart. So how in the world does a Thai startup get into the US space race? Well, they don't try to build everything themselves. Their strategy is all about partnership. They've signed deals with Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin and with Relativity Space, basically buying access to the best-in-class American launch infrastructure. Super smart. And this right here just lays it all out perfectly. We're looking at two very different but equally effective playbooks. Amity went direct. They built a sales team and got that platform credibility from Microsoft. MuSpace, on the other hand, used strategic partnerships to get technical validation and access. One is about winning customers, the other is about winning collaborators. And these two aren't just outliers. They are part of a much bigger ecosystem that's bubbling up. Thailand is also home to unicorns, startups valued over $1 billion in things like fintech and logistics, plus blockchain projects with global backing. The pipeline of ambition is definitely growing. So looking at these success stories, what's the actual playbook for other companies that want to make that leap? Well, the patterns reveal a pretty clear, actionable strategy. It really boils down into 4 key steps. First, you got to pick your hub strategically, just like Amity chose Austin. Second, get those big partners to build your credibility. Think Amity with Microsoft or MuSpace with Blue Origin. Third, prove you're worth it with paid pilots to get those first crucial US case studies. And finally, you have to hire a local leader to build those on-the-ground relationships. And choosing a hub isn't just about throwing a dart at a map. Each one offers something different. The Bay Area, of course, is king for venture capital. New York is essential for big enterprise clients. Seattle gets you close to giants like Microsoft. And Austin? Well, it's a booming, talent-rich hub, which is exactly why Amity lauded there. Okay, let's zoom out for a second. What does all of this mean in the grand scheme of things? Why should we really be paying attention to this trend? Because it is powerful proof of a much bigger shift. The idea that all the game-changing technology has to come from just a few zip codes, That idea is officially dead. World-class innovation can, and absolutely does, come from anywhere. So let's just recap the big takeaways. First, Thailand is an emerging force in global tech, period. Second, we've seen two proven models for cracking the US market: direct entry for software and strategic partnerships for hardware. And ultimately, this whole trend just shows that the global tech playing field is leveling out. Which kind of leaves us with one final question to chew on. If Thai startups can make this leap, who's next? As talent and capital spread across the globe, the next big innovation story could truly come from anywhere on the map. We'll definitely be watching. Thanks for joining this explainer.